Welcome back to Stompbox Breakdown. Today we're going deep into the Boss OC-2 and OC-3 octave pedals. So I was working on a riff the other day and I was trying to record it to send it off to my bandmates, and what I could record just didn't match what I had in my mind. And I kept adding fuzz after distortion after overdrive, and it still wasn't there until finally it dawned on me, what I'm looking for isn't just the fuzz, but the octave that goes along with it. Clean. Octave. Fuzz. Octave fuzz. And of course, that led me to spending the rest of my evening playing around with these pedals, and well, here we are. The Boss octave pedals all come in this amazing brown color. It kind of reminds me of those root beer candies shaped like barrels, so you just know it's tasty. Look at that thing. Now here's the quick rundown on the Boss octave pedals. There's the OC-2. This was known as the Octaver from 82 to 84, and then just simply called the Octave from 84 on until like 2003. It's a 3-knobber, one for the direct sound going through, one for the 1 octave down, and one for 2 octaves down. There's a lot of big fans of the OC-2, and with good reason. This thing sounds amazing. There is just something to an analog octave pedal, no doubt. And if you read up on how the octave process works, it really is fundamentally different in an analog pedal versus a digital pedal. The older Japanese ones supposedly have higher quality components. This one has a silver back. It was made in Taiwan, so it's obviously just complete garbage, and I might as well throw it out, right? Ew. Then there's the OC-3 Super Octave pedal. This is a digital pedal. The OC-2 was analog. Now, what makes it the Super Octave pedal? It's got effect and direct outs, so that's nice. It's got bass and guitar inputs, and it's got 3 modes: fuzz, 2 octave, and polyphonic. Let's start by talking about these outputs. Now, most people will probably just add this into their signal chain in series to thicken up their sound a little bit. But with the OC-3, you have the option of running the octave signal out completely separate of the direct signal. And now you can run that out to a bass amp and run your guitar signal through the rest of your effects out to your guitar amp, and now your guitar amp isn't killing itself trying to play those low bass notes because you've got that covered on that separate bass amp over there. It's a nice little option. Then there's the modes. Fuzz mode this is the fun setting. You throw your basic rock box riffs through this thing in fuzz mode and you're halfway to a car commercial. In Octave 2 mode, you get not just the 1 octave down note, but you get 2 octaves down. And this is very, very deep. This is good for if you're soloing high up on the neck, but you want something down here to fatten it up. Your typical octave pedal works by using your guitar's input signal and then trying to figure out that input signal's frequency and then generating a new tone with half that signal's frequency, which is an octave down. Everything is doubled in octaves. So, 12th fret here is half the distance of the neck. Open string is 1 octave lower, right? So those are octaves. It's just doubling or halving frequencies. Put another way, if this is a waveform of a note, an octave up might look like this, and an octave down might look like this. Let's talk tracking. Tracking is how well a pitch detection circuit locks onto the note you're playing. A pedal like this, what it's doing is deciding when a significant portion of the signal's wave crosses over that 0 decibel center line, and using the timing of that to say, that's the frequency. Of course, because we're playing a guitar and not like a pure sine wave generating synthesizer machine, there's all sorts of other waves in there, so it's really important to only feed it one note at a time, or else you get something like this. And you'll see a lot of people buy a pedal like this, they bring it home, plug it in, they hit record and slam an A chord through it, and they go, oh my god, the tracking of this thing sucks. No, the tracking is just fine. It's a monophonic pedal. You have to feed it one note at a time. Garbage in, garbage out. You can clean up your signal. You can throw a compressor in front. All sorts of things you can do, but it's a monophonic pedal, and it's doing the best it can. And it needs to know that root frequency because the sound it generates is not a pitch-shifted version of what you're playing. It's generating its own brand new bass tones based on the frequency it detects. At least that's what's happening in these guys right here. There are effects that do the record and resample thing. These aren't one of them. Where the OC-3 super octave really gets super is with its polyphonic mode, where it's like, yeah, go ahead and feed me those chords. I'll use my big old digital brain here to figure out the right note and then make the cleanest, most pure sub-octave signals you've ever heard. And you can make the OC-3's polyphonic mode even happier by setting the range knob here so it won't bother trying to create sub-octave tones for notes above where you set it. So here's a D from the D string. And you can hear that coming through as I turn this counterclockwise. That drops out. So now I can do chords where that D might be somewhere in the middle of it, and I know it's just going to try to make the bass notes for the notes below it. I've used this pedal before to kind of fill out the sound of a two-piece guitar vocal duo that I was in, and I was just really happy with the results once I figured out what the heck this mode was all about. So that's the OC-3 Super Octave. Somewhere in the midst of a global pandemic, they released the OC-5, so don't feel bad if you didn't notice that. I sure didn't. It is a hybrid digital and analog pedal, which immediately makes me think of the digital metalizer. I don't have an OC-5 to demo, but I do have an OC-2 and an OC-3, and maybe if I leave them together at night, they'll make an OC-5. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It's got this Waza style switch down here from monophonic or polyphonic mode. In the classic monophonic OC-2 mode, you've got your 1 octave down, your 2 octave down. You've also got a 1 octave up to play with. That's brand new. You get an OC-2 with an octave up knob. That's nice. Then flip it over to polyphonic mode, you lose that second octave down, but you get that range knob, so it's basically the polyphonic mode of the OC-3, but with an octave up as well. That's awesome. The OC-5 does not have a fuzz mode, which is kind of sad because I really like the fuzz mode on the OC-3, but I guess people are going to bring their own fuzz pedals anyway, so it all works out. So you got your OC-2, OC-3, and now your OC-5. Lots of boss options to check out. A lot of people are going crazy over this new OC-5, saying that it's as good or better than the OC-2s. If you're after a fuzz octave pedal, another one to maybe look into is the Mxr Sub Machine. I've been having a lot of fun with this one lately as well. It's got a fuzz circuit that's a lot more customizable than the OC-3. But if you really want to get down with the brown, you've got your OC-2, OC-3, and OC-5. All fantastic pedals. I won't even get into the Big John Granny Puker, because this one might need its own like Werner Herzog documentary. This is something right here. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I had a whole lot of fun with this, and I'll catch you next time on the next Stompbox Breakdown.